Okay, and we are live. Welcome to a new episode of All Things Xbox Podcast. Once again, I got Logan with me. Logan, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. Excited to get rolling.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week in gaming news, and there's a lot of stuff that actually broke today. I will say this: we have I want to say 16 topics. It's always around 16, 18 topics, something like that. We have some news that broke literally minutes ago, which we'll be talking about in a bit. The Halo stuff, obviously, but I want to get this out of the way. It's been a weird week when it comes to just the constant negativity. You won't be getting that in this show. Don't have the energy for it, but it's going to be a fun one. Now, it's been an extremely long week, very long, and I think last week we actually did go live on Wednesday. So even though it has been 6 days, it's felt like an eternity. But Logan, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I've been playing Power Wash Sim 2. Been really loving it. Like the new additions they've added to gameplay has been awesome. Like there's like instead of having to buy all the different type of cleaners and stuff for like this for multi-purpose or this for glass or this for stone and this for wood or whatever. Like you buy this one thing that's like a just a soap attachment thing. And then instead of having to buy a whole bunch of them, what it does is like you use it and then you let it recharge and then you can use it again later in the level or whatever. And like the free play mode is really cool to where you basically you get little statuettes or figurines of all the missions you've done and they show up in your office. And then like for free play mode you can walk up to one of those and click on or pick up the figurine and then you'll go to that, do a free play of that mission. And then like there's a huge world map that you can go to in your office to select campaign missions. And like they've added different types of scrubbers and things. Like there's one that has like this frisbee like disc thing on it, and it's almost like one of those like you remember back in like I guess over here high school or middle school, like in chemistry and bio and stuff, like your science labs or whatever, there'd be like this medical shower in the corner or whatever in case it was needed, in case like somebody spilled something on themselves or whatever and had to immediately run and deal with that.
Yeah,
And it
our
had
school
like
didn't
this
care.
round disc. Huh?
Our school didn't care. We had nothing like that.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I come from a falutin area then. But we had that. To where if somebody spilled something dangerous on themselves, they were supposed to immediately sprint over to there and spray off with the super high power like shower thing that would basically just r- remove that layer of skin on that spot to where it would just take care of it. But anyway, it was shaped like that. That's what made me think of it. I hadn't thought of that in a while. Um, but yeah, so been playing that. Been started Beneath today. It came out today. It's like this Lovecraftian like horror FPS that what they're going for is like Fear or Doom 3 kind of vibes.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten very far with it, but I'm intrigued so far. So I've been playing that, and I've been on New Game Plus for Chronos New Dawn. I'm at the hospital again, finally. So I'm actually plowing through way faster in New Game Plus than I did the first go round. Especially since I've like upgraded so much and I know where to go, what to do, what not to do, how to not waste time, and all my gear is just ridiculous. So I've been plowing through that, and then let's see, odds and ends, other games and stuff. But how about you, man? What you been up to?
It's been a long week for video games. I've played. I think. Look, I joke about how it takes me a long time to finish games. In no bloody wonder, right? I game hop so much. Um, that it took me 4 months to finish Final Fantasy 16. That's the problem I have. So I've played all sorts. Played Nobody Wants to Die. It's a noir esque cyberpunk detective game. It came out, I think it was late last year. Um, by the way, for people listening live, we had some technical issues before we went live. So if you're enjoying it, please share it out. Hit the like button. The algorithm stuff, it's all messy, but it does help. But yeah, I've been playing this detective noir game called Nobody Wants to Die, and it literally is a first-person LA noir, but set in a Blade Runner style world, and it's so cool. I think it's on sale at the minute because I picked it up for about £6. I think it might be around $7 or $8, and it's really cool. And I think it might actually be one of the best looking games ever made, which nobody talks about. So if people are interested in that, highly recommend it. I've also been playing, excuse me, Dying Light: The Beast, which recently came out. I will say this, thanks to Techland for the code. I am massively surprised because nobody's talking about this game and it just came out. And basically, this game started as an expansion for Dying Light 2, but it became so big that it became its own game. We see that every now and then. And oh my god, I'm absolutely blown away. Dying Light: The Beast is basically it's a sequel to Dying Light 1. You play it as Kyle Crane in a new area. This is set in a sort of a small countryside city in Europe, and it has all the gameplay features from 2, but it has the complete vibe, feel, and obviously, main character from the first game. And I noticed that, Dying Light 1, it's probably one of the biggest zombie games of all time when it comes to popularity. They did so well with that. But when the sequel came out, it had better gameplay, big open world city, but I feel like it didn't pop as much as the first game when it comes to like just sales, people talking about it and stuff, even though I think Dying Light 2 is amazing. This new game, Dying Light: The Beast, it feels like the first game. It has a more horror-centric tone to it. The lighting also feels like the first game. Everything about it, from music, everything feels like Dying Light 1, but with everything that everyone liked about Dying Light 2. And I'm just blown away. There's horror elements in it, which I won't mention because I think people will be really surprised by them. You have supernatural abilities, which you can upgrade over time. There's a skill tree in this game, so it has light RPG elements. There's more dialogue options, and it's stunning. It's an absolutely stunning game, and it probably has some of the best lighting this generation. Honestly, I'm actually surprised that nobody's talking about this game. Maybe it's because it launched in a very busy month, but like, if people like zombie games, this is a game people have to play because as someone that loves Dying Light 1 for its feel, this whole like trying to think how I could put it. The whole game is this massive open world action game, but it's a horror game at the same time, and it just works. This sequel to the first game, it's exactly like that. I've had so much fun with it. It's around a 25-ish hour game. It has a bunch of side quests. Basically, everything people I might sound like I'm glazing this game a lot, but the truth is, like, when Dying Light came out in 2015, I think, it blew people away. It was a new kind of game. It had parkour. It's a gory game. This game takes all of that and takes it to the next level. It might be one of the most gory games I've ever played. I can't necessarily show certain parts of it during the podcast because YouTube wouldn't like that. But let's just say you see a lot of different things in this game. I'll put it that way. But very cool game. You can obviously play it in co-op like you could with the other one. But yeah, Logan, did you ever play the Dying Light games?
Yeah, I love the first one. I remember getting it when it first came out. When, frankly, it was kind of during a dry period for the Xbox and PlayStation. 1 and PS4 era.
Yeah.
Like this spot where there wasn't much going on, and I got that, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. Really enjoyed it. The expansion with the buggy, the parkour. There were so many fun Easter eggs in that game too. Like I remember the whole Mario level
Oh yeah,
was really fun.
yeah. This game also has some Easter eggs in there, but the thing that really makes the open world interesting in this is that it's a European setting, so you have like castles, big like 15th century mansions and stuff. It's just a beautiful game, and it brings the whole let's use climbing as a puzzle aspect that you had in the first game mainly, and it just works. If people remember from Dying Light 2, there were these. I don't want to call it a mini game where you have to sort of carry this plug and attach it to a different power source, but you had to use a climbing puzzle to figure out how you get across the room. It was really cool stuff. Um, it also has a lock picking mechanic. Now, it's been a while since I've played Dying Light 2, so I can't remember if that had a lock picking mechanic. It might have done, but it's been a while. But yeah, Dying Light the Beast, what can I say? Great game. Another game I've been playing is Ninja Gaiden 4. Let me tell you, that game is gory. Very gory. Super fast paced action. Uh, I was already asked this on Twitter, but I'll say it here. I didn't actually get back into the Ninja Gaiden 2 Black simply because, like, we all saw what happened with the camera when that game came out. That camera basically made me feel sick, and I never went back to it after they patched it. Now, I definitely want to get back to it, but Ninja Gaiden 4, that franchise is back. The new character is super cool. The art style is great. I mean, honestly, I think the graphics are phenomenal in this game, and they definitely go out there with the gore, which I do like. It feels like some games kind of rein it in these days, whereas Ninja Gaiden, they're like, no, we're going to show you everything. And best of all,
Bring on the giblets.
yeah, oh, tons of giblets, tons in this game, and the best part is it's kind of really accessible. The combat, like I'm not,
The giblets.
yeah, uh, I'm honestly kind of bad at action games because I'm bad at remembering combos and stuff. But the combat is like really like focused in this game. Super easy to pick up. You can tell it's a platinum game because it's like over the top action. Um, it's just really cool, and I think a lot of people like it. And honestly, I think this will be a lot of people's first Ninja Gaiden game. And I think it's a good way to get into the game, get into the franchise because it's super easy to learn. There's a bunch of different difficulty modes. There's different assists you can turn on if you want. So if you're not used to action games and you just want to play through the story, you can literally go play that, turn on the assists so you have like auto block and dodge. You can have auto combos turned on. So like if you hate action games and you just want to experience the plot, you can turn all that crap on and have fun. You can also turn off gore. I don't know why you'd want to because it looks amazing. But yeah, I think a lot of people are going to have fun with this one. Logan, I take it you didn't get the Ninja Gaiden 4, right?
I haven't yet. I'm actually going back through the trilogy, and I'm on Razor's Edge right now. So I know it's the least popular of the trilogy, but I wanted to play through it again before I got to 4.
Yep.
So I'm glad 4 is awesome. And as soon as I get done with 3, I will jump into 4. Question though. Um, I've heard it's pretty breakneck speed for Ninja Gaiden 4. Is it like you basically all the combat is that way, or are there slower parts or?
Yeah, the slow parts. So like the introductory mission, it takes place on a train, so it's like it throws you into the action. The tutorial, I think it's the best tutorial in a Ninja Gaiden game. It just teaches you everything straight up. Um, but the game introduces stealth very early on in the first level. There is platforming. I feel like there's more platforming in this than previous Ninja Gaiden games. Um, there's a mechanic which I think were in other games where you could actually like jump up between walls to get up to a higher level. So like it's not just super fast paced action. There's like slower parts as well. There's boss battles which require more finesse, but I wouldn't go out and say it's like previous Platinum games where it's just action, 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 action all the time. Uh,
Okay, good.
which like if for me, like, look, I don't have the patience for that. I need some downtime when I play a game, So I like
Yeah.
I like the idea that there's some stealth in there if you want it. But like, if people want to go through this game and just like go hammer and nail, all action packed, they can. But the sections in this that are clearly designed that, hey, if you want to go, stealth, maybe get more XP that way, you can do it. I think I think it's actually a fair game as well, from what I've played. Whereas like Ninja Gaiden's probably one of the hardest action-based centric, games there is. But with this game, from what I've played so far, it seems fair, which I really like, because honestly, I don't have the time of day for huge difficulty jumps. I just don't. Now, I was playing Dying Light before, and there was a difficulty jump with a certain boss, and I failed on my part for not paying attention to what was said on screen. But like, I was kind of getting fed up. But like in Ninja Gaiden, I don't think people are going to have that issue, because those early Ninja Gaiden games on Xbox and 360, those were they made you pull your hair out. Like, those were so frustrating. But thankfully, you don't really have the issue with this game, which I like. And let's see what else have I been playing. I've been playing Warzone, but nobody cares about that crap. It will be interesting to see what. Excuse me. It will be interesting to see what Battlefield 6's Battle Royale is going to be like. I think it's called Red. Crap, the name's gone now. The Battlefield 6 Royale. It came out today. Turns out it is free to play. I haven't been paying attention to Battlefield news at all over the past month. So, like, from what I've seen, they've copied a lot of Warzone. But as someone that likes Warzone, I think a lot of people are going to have fun with it. I think it's cool that Warzone finally has a competitor. We could say Apex is a competitor, but I'm not going to say that. I hate Apex Legends. Hate. Maybe I'm still a little bit salty that exists. RedSec, thank you. Yeah, Battlefield 6 RedSec. It's completely free to play. 105 gigabytes. Ouch. But I'm going to play it. I'll talk about it next week. But like, as someone that doesn't play multiplayer, I adore Warzone. My God, I love that thing. It's so much fun. It's a slow-paced game compared to regular Call of Duty multiplayer. But hey, I hope the team nail it with Battlefield. I'll give it a go. Why not? Let's see what else have I been playing. That's pretty much it. I did actually play some Power Wash Sim. That thing is addictive. Those developers knew what they were doing. But hey. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We have like 16, 17 news topics. We'll get. By the way, for people that do social media, you'll notice over the weekend people did lose their marbles online about stuff. We're going to be talking about that later on, but enough's been said online about certain things. Who knows? Depending on what gets brought up, I might just pop off about some people. Anyway, it's been a long week. We've had some news stories break today. And I don't know if you saw, Logan, but Amazon, they're laying off like 30,000 staff. Ouch.
Yeah, that's a Thanos snap right there. That's woof.
Yeah. Like, I think Facebook did a similar layoff a couple of years ago, but it's affected all of their divisions, including gaming. Now, Amazon hasn't really been in the gaming space that long. They have some MMOs in development. They have an MMO out called New World Aeternum.
Oh, they did.
Well, they did. Yeah, and unfortunately, it came out just a couple of minutes before the show went live that New World Aeternum is officially ending. So Season 10 is going to be the final season. It's going to get no more updates for content. It's going to continue to get updates for performance and security and all that stuff, which is good, but they said effectively no more new content, and at some point in 2026, it's going to get shut down. Now, this actually blew my mind because New World Aeternum, it wasn't the biggest MMO, right? It wasn't World of Warcraft. It wasn't the Elder Scrolls Online. However, if you have an MMO and you have 40,000 concurrent players all the time, basically on Steam, that is that's a very healthy player base. And also, it came out on Xbox and PlayStation last year. So this, to me, and a lot of people seem surprised by it, like, this is absolutely shocking, right? They're going to switch off an MMO that's, to us at least, those are successful numbers. As someone that's been covering gaming for a long time now, let me tell you, MMOs, they're probably the hardest genre to get people to play. And with New World Aeternum, people had fun with it. Like, as someone that I took part in both betas, the Xbox betas, and let me tell you, it's the best playing MMO on console. I'll rephrase that. It's the best playing MMO that isn't Elder Scrolls Online, but it plays really good. And like, you can play all of that content solo if you want. So if you want to play it like a single player RPG, you can play it that way. You can play it in co-op. Hell, it's advertised on console as an action RPG with 2,000 player co-op, which I think the way they advertised it was really good on console. But for it to get a year of content for when it finally came to console, PC players have had access to this for 5 years, but I got a bunch of content over the past year. But I'm actually shocked because this, from a gamer standpoint, other developers from other companies have said that this game seemed to perform well, but it looks like Amazon's just pulling the plug because the small team they have making content, they scrapping them, which is such a shame because I played a New World Aeternum. It's a super fun game. They did say people are going to be able to continue to buy it, and honestly, I think people should still get it. I'm going to buy the full version soon. I'm going to play it, and you get 100, 200 hours of content out of it before it gets shut down next year. Logan, what do you think? Because I know you bought the physical edition, right?
No, I actually never did buy this one. I was strongly considering it. Now I'm like, well, maybe I just saved a bunch of money by not buying it. But it it always intrigued me, but yeah, you got to think this is kind of a concerning trend if Amazon and all their resources don't think 40,000 is enough, or that, it's not worth supporting for various reasons. Like, maybe it leads a little more credence to the idea of, canceling that Blackbird game from, Elder Scrolls Online teams and stuff like that. Just, if Amazon's thinking that way as well, then I don't know. It's just something to make note of.
Yeah, it's just surprising because they had such a good formula for an MMO on console. Um, and pulling the plug like that's gonna sting. Like, developers developers that have been working on the game were shocked by this news. Um, we will have to see that if people will run with the whole, is Amazon Game Studios dying? Because if, they laid off staff, they clearly shutting down a game. A successful game, by the way. So, like, are we going to see the certain clickbait YouTube channels and podcasts run with, is Amazon Game Studios dead? Pulling a face in the thumbnail? I doubt it. But hey, this is awful to see. And I think if you have PlayStation Plus Premium, or Essential, whatever it's called, I think New World Aeternum is in that. But man, I will say this. I think that these developers that make these types of games, they have to come out with some sort of way for you to play the game, be able to play the game solo after the servers are shut off. Because New World Aeternum can be played solo, right? So they basically have the perfect framework for a single player game, but you're going to have to be logged into a server to play it, so they're going to turn it off next year. I think that's stupid. We've seen very rare occasions where developers will go in and let people play these games solo after the servers are turned off. I think, even Nintendo, right? Nintendo's successful, what do you call it, Animal Crossing game on mobile phone, right? That game wasn't making the revenue Nintendo wanted. So what did they do? They put out a patch and let people buy it up front, and it doesn't need to connect to the internet, right? Nintendo, of all companies, did that. And people can play Animal Crossing on the iPhone if they want. buy it up front. I think it's like $19, but you get to keep that forever. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a real shame. And what's even more shocking, which we'll find out soon, is that you know a lot of developers that were working on New World Aeternum were put onto the Lord of the Rings MMO. So, what's the state of the Lord of the Rings MMO if Amazon Game Studios are getting funding pulled from their MMO projects? Ouch. And I was looking forward to the Lord of the Rings MMO because, one, we haven't had one on console. This one was meant to be, from what I heard. And, I mean, how can you not love the Lord of the Rings universe? you know? But yeah, that's a shame. And, we'll get the last negative news topic out the way, and that's EA. Now, I'm likely to pop off in the next minute or so about this because I'm really annoyed. So EA, it turns out management wants basically every studio and every developer, and basically anyone that works under EA, to incorporate AI because things are apparently getting out of hand. But like, game development is a mess at the minute, and you have certain companies such as EA. They are looking at AI as this a linchpin into trying to fix their problems, and I don't think it's going to work. For people that don't do social media, there's this clip that went viral yesterday, and it really got me thinking. And it was just a clip from Battlefield. Oh God, what was it? The Battlefield with the Zeppelins. Was it Battlefield 1? I think it was Battlefield 1.
Yeah, that's World War One. So,
yeah,
yeah.
so like the Battlefield with the Zeppelins, like people were saying, like, how does this game have better graphics than almost everything today, right? And a developer replied, if I can find this post, I'll link it in the description. But it was on about how the old guard of developers have basically either left, they're doing their own thing, or they have indie startup companies. And basically, the old guard of video game developers, they were making games, they were optimizing them, and using all these different techniques to get certain effects working in games and stuff. Now, you have developers, and this isn't all developers, but it's a broad spectrum thing, where a lot of developers are relying on the engine just to take care of everything, rather than optimized stuff. So that's why we have horrendous performing games a lot of the time. That's why you have certain effects look weird and stuff. But like, if you go back 10 years ago, look at Batman Arkham Knight, look at Battlefield 1. These games look amazing. Amazing. And now, people are comparing 11-year-old, 10-year-old games to now and thinking, why do they look better? And that's why. There's an over-reliance on the engine taking care of everything, and now you have people that are higher ups at EA and other companies. They are wanting their studios to rely on AI to fill in the blanks. So I hate the term lazy development or lazy developers. I hate it. But everything I've seen over the past 48 hours kind of points to that. There is something going on with how games are being made, and it's very concerning. Ever since developers have switched to like, hey, instead of relying on different art styles that they're gonna last till the end of time, be timeless, sort of speak. And now you have developers, they're trying to make everything photorealistic. There's not been much concentration put on, performance. That's why everyone makes fun of Unreal Engine 5 all of a sudden. Hell, that's why the Arc Raiders developers were posting about saying, "Hey, you can get a 60 frames per second game in Unreal on console." Right? They were joking about it because they acknowledged the fact that everyone's having bad performance in games. So the whole situation is messy. And I messaged Logan before the show went live saying, like, Mass Effect is cooked, right? BioWare is probably the most heavily scrutinized studio under EA, especially after the buyout by Saudi Arabia. And now you have this, with them wanting to incorporate AI into development, fill in the blanks, so to speak. And then you have the old guard of developers, which made all the amazing games, are basically no longer part of the industry. And if they are, they're making smaller style indie games in their own time. This is potentially why games look and perform the way they do now. So if you add AI in there, and look, I think AI is a great tool, and that's the problem. A lot of these companies, they don't realize that. They think AI is this stopgap. They think it's going to fill in the blanks type of thing. It's just a tool, right? I use AI to sharpen images for thumbnails, right? Because believe me, when you try and get pre-release material from a publisher, you sometimes get blurry screenshots. So sometimes I've been using AI for like 3 or 4 years to just slightly sharpen an image that's out of focus. Um, you know, use AI on your own personal photos. Like if you're like me and you can't take photos to save your life, this really does help. But there's higher ups at these companies such as EA. They are wanting AI to basically replace entire departments that are completely related to game development. That is crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Um, it's like if you look at the footage of a game that's on screen right now, Nobody Wants to Die. This absolutely beautiful game, noir-esque, futuristic Blade Runner style game, and none of this was using AI. You can tell it's a handmade game, but every time you see anything related to AI making a movie or a video game, you can tell within seconds. People call it slop because it is. That human touch isn't there. There's no soul whatsoever. And the problem is the higher ups don't realize this. So what we're going to see over the next year to 2 years, maybe even 3 years, we're going to see what this AI generated slop is going to look like in AAA games. And you're going to have indie developers and AA developers. They're not relying on AI. They're not relying on AI to fill in the blanks so they can, have some better numbers on a spreadsheet to satisfy their shareholders. Right? It's actually sickening, really, because I love this industry. Everyone listening clearly loves video games. But we don't need this stuff. AI is a tool, and the over reliance on it we're going to see soon. I think it's going to be one step closer to the crash I've been predicting. But that's just my take on it. Logan, what do you think? Because it's a long-winded topic, but it's going to affect basically everyone soon. And EA is kind of messing up everything.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing EA or not EA, but AI like basically worm its tendrils into like all kinds of different tech industries or even industries that aren't really techy, but they utilize some computers or other stuff to facilitate parts of their jobs.
Yeah.
And it's getting more and more prevalent, and more people are getting paranoid about it. And I mean, rightfully so. Like this, originally it started off like, okay, LOL Skynet, yeah, whatever kind of thing. But the longer this goes and the more and more people push things and, you know, try to make it replace like a lot of stuff, the more and more problematic it gets. I'll put it that way. It just like to me, there's a big difference between using AI to help with an image or like sharpen an image or a picture or like hey, I'm looking for words related to this or that or something like that, and then it goes and then it'll like pop up and have all these different words that you need, or it'll change an image or something like that. Like in game development, to me, it makes total sense. Instead of having some poor intern or, low entry graphic dev, like basically, like, buddy, we need 1,000 trees in this area, and you're the guy. You're the tree guy. Go do it. And so this way you can be like, okay, we have one guy, he has designed the trees, and this is the various area. So now we have AI kind of mass produce these trees to make a foresty region or something like that. But the original design was human made, and then the AI just mass replicated it and spread it and made it look a certain way. Like To me, that's not problematic. What gets problematic is if you're like, okay, you know what? Who needs a writing staff? We're tired of all these SGA or SAG or, screenwriters guild this and this. Like,
Yeah.
what if we just cut them out completely and we have our computer create the story? Like, that's like when you start getting that point and like they're making the whole game or vast majorities of a game instead of upscaling or maybe making a section or two, then I start having more concerns. But to me, it's a tool and it depends on how you use it. I don't think it's inherently evil or anything, but I do think it's getting to a point already where people are pushing it more than the natural alternative, and that is disappointing to say at least. And then as far as EA, yeah, I've been on the EA's been looking over their shoulder for the, boogeyman, or BioWare's been looking over their shoulder for, the EA Grim Reaper for quite some time now. And recent developments kind of seem like they're speeding up that timetable train wreck, you know, whatever you want to call it. So I hope they survive. I hope they do well. But I'm not feeling so good for Bioware's chances right now.
Yeah, it feels like every week something comes out about a year that makes BioWare's next game or BioWare even existing a year from now seem next to impossible. But man, it's so sad to see the whole AI thing in the gaming space because like if you go back several years ago when like if you try to get an AI generated image, you'd have someone with like, 50 fingers on one hand and stuff, like very unrealistic stuff. And now like people will say that, hey, some AI generated images look pretty good and they just assume that you can make a whole movie or game out of it. And it just
No.
drives me insane because, like, I'm sure people listening right now, you've seen the AI stuff on social media where it's like it's extremely inconsistent. You'll have someone walk down a hallway, and then they'll walk past a door, and there'll be like a car, and then they'll walk past the same door again. There'll be like a set of stairs. Like it's inconsistent, and that's why we will call it slop. I think, like I was saying before, I think we're gonna have one or two, hopefully no longer than two, uh, years where we have this AI generated slop where we will still be paying $70 and £70 for games, but half of these games will be AI generated, and EA will be wondering, and all these other companies, they'll be wondering, why is nobody buying our games? Like, why don't they like our AI generated slop? And I personally believe this whole AI thing, in the current sense when it comes to content creation and stuff, I honestly believe it's a bubble. I think it's going to be like the dot coms back in the early 2000s, where the bubble will burst and everyone will just go back to normal. And people will realize, oh, yeah, it can just be a tool, you know? Like you were saying, why do you need one person to make 1,000 trees? Why can't an AI do that? I don't think. Would anyone really complain if they bought the, let's say, uh,
Elder Scrolls
yeah,
and the Forest was made by.
yeah, like if anyone
Yeah.
buys the Elder Scrolls 6 and let's say there's like, there's 1,000 trees in the forest and 800 of them were AI generated, I, does, I don't think anyone would care. But when you have things like, big assets and like story wrote by AI, like AI doesn't know what the hell a good story is. Like, like, like hell, there's been rumors for a long time that the WWE were using AI to write storylines, and
Well,
considering
that
from,
makes sense.
yeah, especially from the crap I've seen this year, bored out of my mind, it wouldn't surprise us if they've been using AI. Some of the storylines don't even make sense, which would explain why I'm seeing the same rematches every week. But the over reliance we're going to see, I think, come to a close in a couple of years, and we'll look back on it and laugh. But my God, seriously, if people go back and play something like Batman Arkham Knight, Alien Isolation, Battlefield 1, like these games look amazing. Like amazing. and these were on pretty weak consoles, and they still look good. Like hell, I think a clip of Batman Arkham Knight goes viral on Twitter at least once a week. People are like, oh my god, how does this game look amazing? It's because the developers took their time and they cared about it, right? It blows my mind, yeah. But
Yeah,
hopefully,
Sunset Overdrive's another one where the art style was timeless
yeah,
and it still pops.
yeah, the whole game looks great. And can you imagine if that game came out now? It would be half AI generated. You know, you'd have like signs on walls and stuff that wouldn't make sense. Like look at the disaster that happened with the Grand Theft Auto remaster trilogy, right? They used
Oh yeah, those hands.
yeah,
Ugh.
they used AI to do a lot of the art, and like character models and stuff didn't look right. Uh, all of the in-game art for like advertisements, posters, and stuff. The AI messed up all of it basically, so they had to go in and what's this? Oh, make it themselves, and it's crazy, man. Like I'm going to use a game as an example of a recent game that looks amazing, performs amazing, and it's not even a full price game. Arc Raiders, right? Whether people like multiplayer games or not, or extraction shooters, if you look at Arc Raiders, that has to be one of the best looking games ever made. Comes out in 2 days, and you have rock solid performance. Unreal Engine 5. The developers knew what the hell they were doing. They're not using AI, and it's launching in the UK for £30. £30. Crazy. And we need to see more of this in the industry. Stop relying on AI. Actually have a content schedule ready to get these games out. Because, like Logan, we talk about the 7th generation all the time. And we were getting games out, what, once every 2 or 3 years. Nobody really
You'd
compared.
actually get a saga
Yeah,
in a generation.
yeah. Like we had 4 Gears of War games on 360. 4. That's crazy. you know, uh,
You know how long it's been since 5 at this point? It's
bloody hell.
yeah, it's
Like, if I remember correctly, wasn't Gears 5 2019?
I mean, I think it happened right around the beginning of the pandemic, so I would say probably so
Like
around then.
crazy. Um, like man, just thinking about Gears alone, that's a real eye opener. Like these games are taking way too long to develop, and I think we were talking about this early last year. How like games used to take 2 or 3 years to make, now they're taking 4 to 6. And when we were talking about how AI could be used as a tool, okay, yeah, 2019 when it came out, thanks. But like we were told then that games are taking longer to develop, and now we're seeing these higher ups from EA and all these other studios are wanting AI. Why? To get games out quicker, right? So maybe we don't need to rely on making games super realistic. Because, like, look, if you look at Batman Arkham Knight, looks amazing. It's not photorealistic. It has great graphics. You look at Battlefield 1. You don't really see people up close until you're doing, like, an assassination animation. But, like, the whole game's just, like, this amazing vista with cool effects. Some things happened in the past 5 years, specifically, that's made game development go down the toilet. And we're seeing it now all the time. Look at Borderlands 4. People are loving the game. They're saying it's the best Borderlands game in a while. But that game came out with terrible performance. Right? We're seeing it all the time. So we'll have to see what happens. But man, it's very bleak. And do you know what the really annoying part is for me? It's the fact that you have all these journalists online. You have the clickbait YouTubers that are never mentioning these problems, right? They don't talk about the real problems in the industry. They'll look. You can put Xboxes. I've talked to Boom about this, by the way. You can put Xboxes dead in a thumbnail or in your YouTube title, podcast title, and you are guaranteed views. We don't see much coverage about the video game industry in general anymore, which is why we actually dedicate about the first 90 minutes of this podcast every week to game news. And it's just a shame that we're not seeing coverage around this stuff, right? Yeah, you'll have someone that works for some news outlet pop off about AI in one tweet, right? But that's it. I think the stuff that needs to be talked about in the game industry doesn't get talked about enough. But there's an over-reliance on that of just, hey, let's whine about Xbox. Let's get our clickbait videos out. Like, look, I've seen some, like, Linus Tech Tips, right? Probably the biggest tech YouTuber on Earth. And I'm seeing Xbox is dead videos on my feed, right? Why can't we talk about why the industry's messed up? Why can't we talk about why there's people like me feel like there's been a crash on the horizon? I've been feeling like there's a game crash coming since like 2021, right? Something's been brewing for a long time, but let's make Xbox is dead clickbait. That's what we'll do now. I apologize if I'm ranting, but it's just frustrating, man. Frustrating that nobody wants to cover this stuff. Anyway, we'll move on.
But we should pay $100 for GTA, am I right?
Oh, my phone fell off the table. I'm actually glad you mentioned that because, look.
Or tip. We should do that too. Why not both?
Yeah, so, like, along with all the AI-generated crap, and bear in mind, I'm not going to mention people by name, but I'll heavily hint at them. In this past week, I've seen people higher-ups talk about how games should cost more. How, leaning on AI won't be a crutch for developers. It'll be like, it'll help them, right? This past week, I'm not going to mention names, I've seen someone that makes, daily content talk about how GTA deserves, bear in mind these exact words I'm saying, GTA deserves to cost $100. Really think about that sentence as a concept, right? GTA, a game we haven't played, deserves to cost $100. This is a YouTuber, Twitch streamer, that was just talking about, and we've had other big Twitch streamers talk about this stuff, but, like, as a person that's, like, followed the industry my entire life, as someone I'm always going to be on the side of the consumer, we shouldn't be advocating for higher prices when we have to deal with slop. And look, I'm sure Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be an amazing game. However, I'm only getting one Rockstar game every generation now. That's not enough. $100 for a video game, no game should cost $100. No game should cost $90 or $80 or $70. Hell, I don't think games should be costing $60. I think $50 should be how much these games cost. That goes for Grand Theft Auto. That goes for I don't know how much Space Marine 2 cost in the US, but Space Marine 2 was like very fair price in the UK. I think that when you have these people like going for bat for these companies, and by the way, while I'm popping off about this, ever notice how maybe once every month and a half, 2 months, we have an analyst or someone in the industry come out about how GTA should cost more and how it would be good for everyone? How come no one's told me about how GTA costing more benefits me? Nobody's told me this, right? GTA costing more benefits literally no one other than the higher-ups at Take-Two, right? People think that, GTA costing more, it's going to save the industry. By the way, I've seen content creators say this stuff, right? People should be on the side of the consumer, and I'll leave it at that. But people pushing for higher prices and stuff, it's crazy. Crazy. You'll talk about the price of consoles going up as a bad thing. You'll talk about Game Pass going up as a bad thing, both of which I think any price going up for anything is bad. But games costing $100, we should be okay with. Please. Not on my watch. I had to get that out of the way because, my God, it's been a weird week when it comes to game news, and that the AI stuff, the game price thing, it really got to me. Anyway, we'll move on. Still have 12 topics left. Okay, we'll quickly talk about this. So, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, the game which I think is bloody amazing, which I think everyone needs to play. Got a brand new trailer today about the new expansion, which takes place after the events of the new Avatar film. Yes, that's a mouthful. It showed off mainly third-person gameplay. They know what they're doing, and I like it. They had to go in and basically give this whole game a brand new animation set, and they've nailed it. I don't like to be a person that says, "Oh, this game needs to be third person," or "This game needs to be first person." I think a good game is a good game. That being said, I understood like Ubisoft making a first person Avatar game made me think back in the day, why wasn't it third person? Well, it looks like they're going to have a successful relaunch later this year in December, and my God, the trailer looked amazing. It looks like it takes place primarily in the same map as the base game, but they've completely changed it with certain things that happen in the story. All I'll say is, if people have been looking for a new third-person open-world action-adventure game, maybe this is it. I don't understand the stigma behind Avatar, by the way. You know, the first film comes out in late 2009. It blows people's minds, and it becomes the highest grossing movie of all time. And then the sequel comes out 13 years later, and that becomes the third highest grossing film of all time. So, like, people like Avatar, but for some reason, people like to hate on it. I've never understood that, but the game's good. The game's good.
It's kind of along the lines of the whole AI thing, but it's like CGI stuff, and like it's a big tech bro paranoia kind of hate towards the Avatar franchise. And, on the other hand, there are some people who legitimately don't want to watch a movie about 9 foot tall blue cat people running around fighting mechs. I get it, but like a lot of the hate I see is like because of techie stuff. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it could be that. It's just, I just think it's a really, really good franchise. Like, I will defend Avatar as a franchise because, my God, it's not often I can put a film on and like I'm zipped out of my chair and I'm in that world. My brain turns off. Congratulations, I'm on Pandora. Where's my Leona Lewis soundtrack? Like, I like those movies, and this game, it's so good. It's so good. And yes, it is what I like to call Far Cry for hippies, because it is. But you know what?
Yeah.
I think that's good, right? By the way, I've always liked Far Cry. Even I liked Far Cry 2, and your weapons used to jam in that game and used to get malaria.
Malaria.
Yeah, that was an awful
Yeah.
mechanic, by the way. I don't know what they were
It
thinking.
was brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
And remember when all your companions betrayed you near the very end?
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? And yeah, this is, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's... By the way, I think Far Cry 2 is probably the one Ubisoft game that will never get remastered, because that was pretty niche, very difficult, and, your weapons jamming every 5 seconds wasn't exactly fun, but, yeah, Avatar, it's Far Cry for hippies, and I like it, Hell, I put, 50, 60 hours into it, and I maybe saw 2/3 of the map, right? Big game. But yeah, that's coming out in December 19th, the new expansion, and the third-person mode, if I remember correctly, drops December 5th. So plenty of content there. They're also coming out with a brand new bundle that has the base game, both expansions, and the new thing. Ubisoft gets a lot of flack, but the support they give to a lot of their games, my God, I wish a lot of developers actually gave their single-player games the same amount of content. They also came out in between the last show we had that Assassin's Creed Shadows looks like that's going to get a year 2 of content, which we'll find out about soon. But my God, like Ubisoft, they get a lot of flack, but they deserve some praise when it comes to this stuff. Let's see what else we've got. My God, there's still like 10 topics left. Okay, now for people that are listening, you might know that I'm a fan of Mass Effect. Shocker to no one. My God, I adore those games. But if you're like me and you've been wondering like how do you have Mass Effect, this huge successful IP, third-person shooter, sci-fi role-playing game? Why hasn't anyone copied this format? Like that's always been amazing to me. You know, you have super successful games, nobody decides to copy it. Yet you'll have, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare came out in 2007. Absolutely blew people's minds. Told us like, hey, we don't need first-person shooters set in World War II, right? And then we start getting modern shooters all the time. But Mass Effect, nobody decided to copy the format until now. So other than getting the Expanse Osiris Reborn, which is going to be amazing, that's apparently years away. But Exodus was announced 2 years ago at the Game Awards. It's made by a bunch of BioWare veterans, which I'm already getting my hopes up for this game. And it got another gameplay trailer last Game Awards. And as my prediction went, that we were going to see at this Game Awards, turns out Hasbro kind of leaked that we're going to see it at the Game Awards this year. They have a new art book coming out next year, describing stuff in the universe. They already have one book out. So considering what games are like in the past when it comes to game book releases and stuff like that, I 1000% think that, we are going to get this Expanse trailer. Not Expanse, I'm all over the place today. Exodus trailer at the Game Awards. But I think we're also going to get a release date. And my prediction for the release date is April. Next year is going to be very weird when it comes to release dates. But I think you're going to see over the next month and a half, you're going to see a lot of developers try and put their foot in the sand, make a stand with the release date. Because like the first half of 2026 is very strong. But April is kind of barren at the minute. So we're going to see a lot of developers try and get their games out right before Grand Theft Auto. And Exodus is going to be one of those games, in my opinion. But we are going to see it in December at the Game Awards. I'm obviously hyped. Logan, what do you think? Because you don't really talk about the game much, but I know you're a fan of Mass Effect, so this is obviously up your street, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Once I hear former BioWare devs, my ears already perk up, and then, seeing like who the lead is on it, like Casey, I think.
Yeah.
Casey or Carrie, like one of the head Mass Effect guys, and just the screens and the trailers we've seen, the art book. I'm super excited. Really can't wait to see it at the Game Awards. And when you were talking about nobody ever doing the Mass Effect style again, it reminded me, didn't Obsidian at one point have in development like an alien game that was supposed to be Mass Effect like, and then it just never saw the light of day?
You had to remind me, yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that would have been incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, for people that don't know, Sega had a publishing deal for an Obsidian game. If I remember correctly, it was like 2008 or 9. And then they were going to make a Mass Effect style third-person shooter RPG. Basically like Mass Effect, but with Dead Space style horror. And it got canned. That's one of the games I still think about. It's not Star Wars 1313 level for me, where that game could just randomly pop into my mind while I'm doing anything. Like, I'm so salty that game doesn't exist. But yeah,
They should pull a Ben Solo campaign and try to bring that back too.
yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it? Like Ben Solo, possibly one of the most liked characters in the entire new trilogy, was going to get a standalone film, but they axed it. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, hopefully they'll go back on it because it sounded like a cool idea. But
Agreed.
like when it comes to the whole Mass Effect style RPG thing, Exodus is going to be the thing for people to keep their eyes on. And by the way, like you mentioned, Casey Hudson. Turns out Casey Hudson isn't working on this game. However, he started up a new studio years ago called Humanoid Studios, right? And
Okay.
well, it goes downhill from here. So he had this game in development that was a shocker to no one. Third-person shooter, sci-fi RPG, and
He has a type. Yeah.
yeah, and the concept art looked amazing. The problem is, he couldn't get funding for the game from a publisher, so the game got cancelled and the studio shut down. That was heartbreaking to me when I found out this, because my God, if you're gonna have anyone make a Mass Effect style game, and you have Casey Hudson, the creator of Mass Effect, I don't know what publishers were thinking. Like, why wouldn't you fund that? Mind-boggling. But hey, it looks like we're going to see Exodus in December. And again, my prediction is April release date. But hey, if I hear, BioWare veterans working on a game, I'm immediately paying attention. Because those are the developers that made Mass Effect 2. And Mass Effect 2 is one of the best games ever made. But anyway, we'll continue. Let's see what we've got. Oh, my God. Oh, Logan, you want to talk about this because I've been out of the loop. The clock's going back in the UK has just messed me up. It feels like I'm in an episode of Lost. But it turns out the ID at Xbox Showcase was today, and there's a ton of Game Pass and Play Anywhere games.
Yeah, there was a lot of games shown off today, and not all of them had the Play Anywhere tags. Some of them did. Hopefully, the other ones will eventually. But yeah, there was like a really diverse portfolio of titles. Like we had like a lot of horror games, which made me really happy. There was like one called Agni, like the something village, and that one looks like super nuts. Like it had vibes of The Shining, but like set in like Southeast Indonesia, Asia region, and it looks wild. There was that one. There finally saw more footage of that. Like it was a sci-fi horror game that they had teased at an Xbox show years ago. Not replaced, but like another one, like Rejoiner or something like that.
Yeah.
They finally had an update on that. That's coming December 4th. It looks really trippy and cool. It's very sci-fi Dead Space, but also found footagey kind of looking. It's intriguing. I like the vibes of that. There was a fun little co-op or solo like platformer mixed with like kind of Souls-esque actiony combat, but with like DreamWorks style animation. It was very odd, called like Oasis, but spelled with like away from here.
Yeah.
And so that one's coming out at some point in the near future. That looked good. That Slot and Dagger game is coming to Xbox, which I'm excited about. It reminds me a whole bunch of the idea of like the Buckshot Roulette or the Inscription game. It's like madness and just dark and just weird. And but also mixed with just like what seems like a simple card game or slot machine, but it's the rabbit hole goes way deeper than you think. So there was that one. There was a whole bunch of cozy, nice little warm and fuzzy type stuff. There was like something from Wired Productions that had some cute little like square and circle and triangle type character guys that ran around and did stuff. There was a game that I think Nintendo's like law teams like eyes popped out of their sockets saying it. You remember Pokemon card game back in the day, like the packs and everything.
Yeah.
It looked like Pokemon at card game at home. Like you're running the store and you have these packets, and they have like the circle on the front with the monster in the middle and all this other stuff. It was basically like Pokemon card game at home kind of thing, and it looks really cool, but I'm not so sure that game's long for this world, but it looked really cool. And then there was several other updates on stuff, and overall it was a good show.
Yeah, another game that was shown off was, and we've seen this before, Mouse PI for hire.
Oh yes, like the Cuphead mixed with Boomer Shooter mixed with Noir.
Yeah, like that game. That game's going to be pretty big. I'd be
Oh
shocked if
yeah.
that game isn't big. Um, what else was shown off there? By the way, if people heard music while the show went on for some reason, the official Xbox page start auto playing trailers. Don't know why, but yeah, there was a bunch of cool games there. Almost everything, I believe, had Play Anywhere support, which is big because Microsoft's growing their first party and partnerships with the the portable game and stuff. But yeah, a lot of people seem really happy with these games. And also, one of the games they showed off, like you mentioned, was the trading card game simulator. I watched the trailer, and they showed someone basically in a chair, smelly. And one of the things you have to do is go up to like a smelly person and spray them with deodorant. And I just thought,
It's real to life.
yeah, I just thought they absolutely nailed the stereotype. And yes, I was obsessed with Pokemon cards as a kid. Way too much. My God, I probably have like a binder in my house somewhere that's probably worth millions. Because I had like,
Oh yeah, those things, especially if you have the original gen and like first or second print, can go for just absurd amount of money.
yeah, I have a lot of specialty first gen cards. I should really find out that collection. But hell, I
You
even
might
have
want to get them insured too, I've heard. So
yeah, I also have like the Pokemon card that came with if you saw Pokemon the movie at the cinema.
Ancient Mew, yeah, I
Yeah,
have that. Yeah.
yeah. Um, my God, people were going nuts for that back in the day. But yeah, Pokemon cards and trading card game simulator. Honestly, when I saw that trailer, I thought you'd probably like that.
It looks great, but like I said, I think they might want to contact Pal World and learn how to deal with some stuff because
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks really cool though.
Yeah, a lot of the art they showed off for the Pokemon cards did look a bit too close. Like at first, I actually thought, like, why are the Pokemon in this game? But I'm sure they'll find out. I think it's going to be a while before we see any more like monster hunting type games or monster collecting games on anything, because Nintendo, they've been ruthless. But hey, it's a story for another day. But hey, look, I did Xbox Showcase, bunch of cool stuff, a lot of stuff coming to Game Pass. Um, Not everything that was there is coming to Game Pass, right?
I don't believe everything was. Maybe, but I can't remember. Oh, another one was there was a like Dark World 2 or like Dark Wood 2 or something, like a sequel to like this really trippy isometric like horror game that looked almost like something you'd play on an iPad, iPhone
Yeah.
type game that they had on the Xbox One, and they got a Series X update or like an Xbox One X update, and a new developer's handling the franchise, but it's getting a sequel.
Yeah. Oh, and I mentioned two games before we change topics. Routine. Routine first-person horror game, very much in the vein of Alien Isolation. It's set on the
That's the one.
yeah.
I was saying Rejoiner. I was wrong. Okay.
There's so many games with similar names. Routine replaced Regina. They're all the same when it comes to names. But this game was announced 13 years ago, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Yeah, and like this was announced basically when we had Xbox 360s and PS3s. It looks amazing. If people like Alien Isolation, it's gonna be up your alley. And that comes out in December. That's also a Game Pass launch title. Such a long time coming, but looks great. And another game, if I can find it quickly. Oh yeah, Planet of Lana 2. That game's launching in Game Pass Ultimate in 2026. And for people that didn't play the first game, I'm not sure if it's still in Game Pass, but it's worth a look. It's a 2D adventure game, kind of in the same genre as Limbo, but it's very colourful. So as opposed to it being super bleak and dark, it basically plays the same, but it's bright and colourful, and it kind of works. But yeah, the sequel looks fantastic. Never actually thought that would get a sequel, especially with how it ends. But hey, I'm up for more like that. Honestly, bunch of cool indie games there. Can't really go wrong. Now, we were talking about this before the show went live, and I wanted to get your impressions again live. We just had the ID at Xbox show that had a ton of, Play Anywhere titles mentioned. Play Anywhere is clearly a big focus for Microsoft because, Play Anywhere has been around since 2016, and, there's been a lot of titles, a lot of big third-party titles adding the feature over the years. Basically, the past year, there's been hundreds announced, I think. And as someone that just got an Xbox Ally X, like Logan got, Logan, I know you want to talk about Play Anywhere, and it's obviously a big factor because, you're getting to find out all these cool games, or even ones you own, and having this feature. One, what do you think of, the ROG Xbox Ally in week 2, and what's your opinion of all this, Play Anywhere advancement?
Well, basically, my thoughts remain the same. It's one of the best things since sliced bread. I've been really, really enjoying it. It's just being able to, even for the games that aren't Play Anywhere, I can play some that are cloud available on it, like my LG cloud device I had, but I can do it on this one. And so that's a good alternative if for some reason it's not Play Anywhere, which is such a weird conundrum. Like, there's a game on there, for example, Crime Scene Cleaner, which I really enjoy, and you can play well on cloud devices, but then the Play Anywhere version, which is PC, for some reason isn't fully optimized for the device, even though the streaming an Xbox version via cloud onto it is optimized 100%, which kind of seems odd to me. Like, there are several examples of that where you have to basically jerry rig something to get some games to work or not.
Yeah.
Or you can't play the native version, but you can play the streamed console version, or vice versa. And it, I love it. It's awesome. I've been having great experience with it. I've been playing Chronos on it through my new game Plus. I've been playing Power Wash Sim 2. I've downloaded a whole bunch of Metroidvanias and boomer shooters because this device is just like godsend perfect S tier for those kind of games. Or like the old school pixel games or platformers like a quote Banjo or a Spyro Crash, that Decoro game that you talked about. Stuff like that is perfect for it. So just absolutely loving it. You can tweak your settings depend on how tech savvy you are. You can get some really crazy stuff to work on there. Or if you just want just a low key experience, you can just do, okay, this is pretty much optimized, or I just need to adjust sound or like font or something, and I'm good to go. To where you can play a lot of stuff. It is weird though that there's some games that have come out recently to where it's there'll be an Xbox version and a PC version, and it's not Play Anywhere, which is okay. Like, some companies do that, even though I prefer they would. But then that PC version isn't even in the PC store for the device, to where you would have to go to GOG or go to Steam to get them. And it's they're like, the heck with Microsoft's PC storefront. We don't want anything to do with that. And so you would have to buy them there and play them there on your device and not have access to your achievements and stuff, even though there is an Xbox version of it, which I don't know. It's kind of annoying and weird, but it's a first world problem. At the end of the day, if I want a PC version as well to play it on that, and then an Xbox version to play on my Xbox, I can get both. especially for some of these indies, which are cheaper, like in the 30 or less range. It's less of a big deal than like a AAA $70 title that would expect you to buy twice and not even give you like certain features you want. But overall, I love it. I'm glad more companies are supporting it. And just the fact that they're retro compating some games to add it is a great sign. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is apparently supposed to drop it very soon or Play Anywhere. It's already been leaked on storefronts. Other people have talked about it. Like it's coming at this point. It's just a matter of when. So, like, let these companies know. Be nice, but be like, hey, we would really like this on Play Anywhere. And I hope more do it. And I'm definitely a proponent for it. It's become my new backwards compatibility campaign kind of thing where I'm just like, I'm spazzing out on these guys about it. Like, come on, like, it's pro consumer. At the end of the day, more people are more likely to buy your product if they can use it here and there instead of just here, or they can use it there as well, but they have to pay an extra thing to do this. Like, it's just, it's way more goodwill endearing, in my opinion. And yeah, just, I hope more developers support it. And Xbox is clearly all in on it because of their next gen console plans, which Jez and others have reported on.
Yeah, like the rumors of them doing a portable first party thing next gen, or at least some point next gen, is looking more and more likely with the Play Anywhere stuff. Uh, Honestly, it's really cool to see. You know, this feature has been around for so long, but like this feature we had before the whole portable handhelds were going around. So I think Microsoft's clearly had this plan for a long time, or at least part of the plan. But hey, ROG Xbox Ally, people are loving it. Logan, by the way, did you actually get to play any of those GOG games?
Yes, I have. I checked out Saboteur with
Nice.
it, and it works great. I switched to the native Microsoft PC Store version because it had achievements and was included with EA Play from my Ultimate. So I was able to just basically play it for free without having to buy a different version to get achievements. So I'm like, might as well switch. But yeah, like I have Alpha Protocol, like the upgraded version that they put in GOG preservation program, where they upscaled stuff, fixed some things, added controller support, all this. I have that running on there well, and Into the Breach from GOG I have on there, and several other games. So yeah, GOG and Steam work well,
Nice.
and Epic.
By the way, the Saboteur is bloody amazing, right?
Oh yes, it's so good. It's like the best GTA alternative. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think it has more of a punch to me because the narrative is not just some parody on society and like fun like crime spree type thing. It's like you're part of La Resistance. You're you're in France during World War II and you're fighting the German occupation and the city, transitions from black and white to color. And then there's like all these side quests and fun mini games and the combat, the campaign. It's like, it's just so cool. And it was such a shame that EA had the Grim Reaper pandemic because Pandemic was an awesome studio. They had so many hits. And, if they had to go out the way they did, Saboteur was a pretty good swan song.
Yeah. The Saboteur is such a good game. It was kind of heartbreaking that that didn't make the cut for backwards compatibility because it has like like 100-year-old music in it, which
Yeah,
is
it's so annoying.
yeah,
But I think this is their approach to BC going forward is basically like, well, we couldn't technically get the Xbox version approved, but we were able to get, but the PC version's forever, and this device is a hybrid, so you can play Xbox and PC. So you can play your PC version on your Xbox device, even though it's technically from a PC storefront, and it'll play exactly the same, except it'll be quote PC, but it's still Xbox device. So I think that's kind of where they're going at this point.
Yeah. But hey, and if anyone ever gets the chance to play the Saboteur, please do. My God, such a good game. Um, I don't know how. By the way, bit of a tangent. I don't know how that game was not massive when it came out. Like, you have open world GTA style game, but with Assassin's Creed style climbing, and nobody bought it.
I wonder if it was a heavy market at the time or something. I can't remember the year it came out, but I wonder if EA pulled an EA and like released it during a window that was just absolutely swamped with stuff. Like it would be an EA move to release that with GTA 5 for 360 or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
if I remember correctly, and I'll search for this quick while we're live. I'm pretty sure the Saboteur may have launched around the same time as Crisis 2 and Dead Space 2. I'm gonna have
Man,
to search
EA's
this up.
cannibalizing themselves. Like, what are
Right.
they doing?
I'm really curious. I'm checking this one. Okay, yeah, launched 2009 December, so December 2009. I mean, around about then, that was a pretty busy time. So, I mean, look, EA doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to timing their releases. Um, but yeah, I do hope that that is one of the games they'll consider remastering at some point because they had such a gem there.
Oh, it
Anyway,
deserves it. It's glorious.
yeah, but yeah, more Play Anywhere titles, and it just leaked today that apparently we're going to get another Xbox event in November, which is really cool. I assume you're going to see more Play Anywhere stuff there. Anyway, let's see what we've got next. Oh god, this is going to be a juicy one. And by the way, we've been live for about 120 minutes, or an hour and 20 minutes. If you're enjoying the show, please hit like, share, and subscribe. It really does help with the algorithm and all that stuff. If you want to support the channel with super chats, I'll read anything out or answer them live. Anyway, so this past weekend, a new game was announced for Xbox, and that is Halo Campaign Evolved. Now, we're not going to go into the whole drama because people have had enough of it. I've had enough of it. But during the whole Halo event this past weekend, because the Halo Championships was going on, they had this whole game announced, shown off. It looks amazing, stunning game. And basically it takes everything you liked about Combat Evolved, but it's using Unreal Engine 5. And it has some gameplay features from the newer Halo games, so the ability to sprint. I don't know if they confirmed ledge grab or not, but also other Halo weapons from other Halo games are in this game. So in Combat Evolved, you couldn't pick up the laser sword, but you can in this. The battle rifle is in the game as well, but it wasn't in the original. But honestly, if you're gonna introduce not just new people to it, but like just an easier, more modern way to play the game, because Halo Combat Evolved came out 24 years ago. It's a very dated game, and whether people love the old gameplay or not, like I love the original game, I think giving it a coat of paint, making it new, I think that's all cool. I've been wanting new Halo content for a very long time. I don't do Halo multiplayer, so like as soon as I played Halo Infinite, I had nothing to play since when it comes to new content. The cool thing about this, and it's the thing people are glossing over the most, is that the game is also going to come with 3 prequel missions, which are going to take place, well, would have to take place before Halo Reach. And that's arguably the most interesting thing about this that nobody's talking about. You have people losing their minds about Sprint, and you have people just losing their minds saying, oh, it doesn't look like the original. But, like, we are getting new Halo content, yes, in the style of missions, but I will take it. I love Halo lore. It's just not expanded enough in video games. But like my initial takeaway is it looks good. I can't wait to play it. Not including multiplayer isn't really a bad thing for me. You know, Halo 1 was known for its campaign. The first game didn't really have proper online multiplayer. Like you could do it, you could go around it with certain ways, but like it was known for its LAN
LAN
parties.
parties.
Yeah, LAN
Yeah.
parties. By the way, I wish LAN parties were more of a thing in the UK. Didn't really take off like that. But like I probably played hundreds of hours of split screen Halo back in the day. But like it's the campaign, and I understand why they're doing this. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Why wouldn't I? I've played like look, maybe someone listening remembers. I think I've pretty much said before that I will never play Halo Combat Evolved ever again. Simply because the last time I played it, I played through it on Legendary. That's traumatizing. like, like I like when you
Put
put
some
your
hair on your chest, Jamie.
yeah like
Legendary is where it is.
oh my god that game on Legendary, it makes you want to pull your hair out. But I did it, and I vowed to never play it again. But you know what? I like the idea of playing through it on normal with a shiny new coat of paint, and it's going to offer co-op, which is really cool. So you have co-op, new gameplay improvements, ability to use different weapons from other Halo games. I think weapons from Halo 2, ability to pick up the energy sword, prequel missions, which is arguably the biggest feature. And honestly, I like what I saw. Logan, what do you think? Because, you know, yeah, Lasso was traumatizing. I never need that achievement. Putting it out there. I don't care. Like, why would
Yeah,
anyone...
I hear you. Like, I'll admit I've not done Lasso, but I've done all of them on Legendary, like all the mainline Halo games, and I love the challenge. I love to play them solo on Legendary or co-op, like with a friend or two.
Yeah.
And it's just something about the experience, especially when there was, back in my day when we actually had split screen or local Halo and stuff. It was just a bonding and fun experience. Have the group over and you're either playing Halo multiplayer or Halo split screen campaign, and it was just a fun weekend. It was great stuff. I loved it. But as for the remake, yeah, I think it's great. I'm a big fan of all they're doing. I think the visuals look fantastic. I think the design choices make sense. Like some of the buildings, like I remember in the original, they were very rounded or rough in some parts and stuff. And kind of, it was 2001. There wasn't like a whole bunch they could do compared to now. And I still thought they were incredible. But I think making the stuff more in line with modern day Halo Infinite style buildings and architecture and everything just makes sense personally. Like you're reintroducing this franchise to the world and connecting it to the latest installment. It just makes sense to aesthetically connect them more. Like I to me that just seems like designer 101. It makes sense. It's not a spin-off, it's the original. You're just tying it more visually. And I think the gameplay changes make perfect sense. Sprint, I've long believed you're a super soldier. You do not have concrete feet. You can't move. Like, a super soldier should be able to run. If I can run for like 5 miles in Call of Duty, basically, sprinting, but a super soldier, 7 foot tall, armored super soldier, like cybernetic enhancements, can't run. Like, what are we doing here? So it makes total sense for that. I love adding the battle rifle. That is my favorite weapon to use by far. Like in all the Halo games, I rock with the battle rifle. I'm just that's my favorite to use personally. It may not be the coolest weapon, but I love it. I'm really good with it. So I'm super ecstatic that they're adding that. And the energy sword, getting to use it in the first game, man, you know how much of a buzzkill it was? Like, you'd finally defeat one of those gold elites, and then his sword would vaporize. And are you kidding me? Seriously? And yeah, I can't wait. And the prequel missions, my goodness, cannot wait. So excited to see more of Sergeant Johnson and Master Chief for the Covenant invasion of Reach and the Halo ring. Day one, can't wait. Leave sprint turned on. Be a rebel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're giving people the option to turn sprint on or off if they want. I
That is
also,
so funny that
yeah,
they're pandering that much. Like, we talk about it all the time, but the difference between the Halo
yeah,
community and the Doom community is just, it's so astronomical. At the end of the day, you're a total souped up dude, and you are blasting aliens or monsters into bits, and you're doing all kinds of stuff, and it's a sci-fi mixed with some horror fantasy element stuff universes. And Doom is like chainsaw lance shield, or a grappling hook, or my character can now parkour, or I've got a mech dragon, or I've got this cute bunny, or all this other stuff. It's like, okay, yeah, that seems like it goes. All right, cool. I'm down with it. Halo, it's like I can run or not, or oh, we added a ammo counter for a certain gun,
yeah,
or a or the fruit physics are wrong in the market stead. It's like, my gosh, like, by far, I think the most miserable fan base in gaming.
oh yeah,
Like, just like, you've got the depths of the Star Wars community. I love Star Wars, but some of the community gets a bit wild. And so it's like that, but in Halo. Like, it is just, it's so depressing. No wonder 343 about lost their minds trying to make this series.
yeah. I mean, look, putting the option in there, they clearly pandering to a certain group. But my God, like we've talked about this before as well. Like, I want 343 or Halo Studios to just make the game they want, right? Stop paying attention to like, look, you can pay homage to past games, you can respect the fan base, but make your own bloody game. Like you said, Doom the Dark Ages has a bloody parrying shield. Nobody complained. Nobody. Nobody cares, right? Or you can throw the shield like Captain America, right? It's completely fine, accepted, and it still plays like a Doom game. Nobody complains. But Halo, they put in Sprint in 2011, 12, and people have complained since. Actually, no, they complained beforehand when it was an armor ability in Halo Reach. Like, how dare superhumans be able to sprint, right? And bear in mind, Master Chief runs in cutscenes. Nobody ever batted an eye.
He does a lot of things in cutscenes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's perfectly fine in the cutscenes, but look, I love Halo. I've mentioned this before. I don't talk about Halo basically ever. In fact, I almost didn't put Master Chief in the thumbnail because there's this weird disconnect between, like, if you talk about Halo, it just brings negativity into the situation, and it's like, it shouldn't be like that, you know? Like, I refuse to talk about Halo because of the negativity around it. That's terrible. Like, like bloody hell. Like, Halo Infinite, I loved Halo Infinite. I don't care what people say. In fact, I don't get the complaints about Halo Infinite. It's got cool boss battles. It takes the story places you don't expect it to. And yeah, I did prefer Cortana over the weapon, but the game's still a good game. I don't really get it. The fact it was open world, I think that really worked, and I complain about open world games a lot these days, but I think Halo Infinite, they nailed a format that works. Putting the grappling hook in was so much fun. Getting weapons, getting into vehicles, getting around the map, getting to higher structures and stuff. It's never felt better than in Halo Infinite. It's a shame we didn't get the 10 years of content I thought we were going to get, but 343. I would love to see 343 or Halo Studios 100% put out a Halo game they wanted to make. Not listen to people on Twitter, not listen to people that put out, crying videos over Sprint for a decade. Like, legit, a new Halo game, new experience, what they want to make. Because, bloody hell, like, Halo doesn't need to be a boxed-in franchise where it's the same thing over and over again. Like, I've talked about this before. I don't want to play Halo Combat Evolved for eternity. I want different Halo games. I want spin-offs. I want spin-offs in different genres. I want Halo Wars 3. I'm that guy. And we should have it as well. Halo is a big enough franchise. Like, oh, can you remember when Halo 5 was about to come out and they did that, was it called Find the Truth, a marketing campaign? Like,
oh yes, it's like they try to make it sound like the chief is the villain and he's gone AWOL, and like Locke is gonna hunt him down and bring him in, and yeah, it was. I remember that.
Yeah, like they had this really interesting, elaborate universe set up, and what did we get in the game? And by the way, I enjoyed Halo 5's campaign. The story was all over the place, but like, what we got in that story wasn't like they had Mark Hamill and these other celebrities do the like audio podcast for the prequel series. I don't know, man. Like they invested so much into different marketing materials for that game that it was all disconjointed and none of it made sense in the end. Like, look, Halo 5 was introduced to us by Master Chief wearing a poncho. Where was that in any game? Didn't happen, right? None of that made sense. But yeah, Halo, it looks great, and we'll move on. By the way, why am I not talking about the Halo go to other platforms thing? It's because how many different ways can I beat a dead horse, right? It's going to other platforms.
It's been known for a while.
Yeah, like that. By the way, this game, other than its name, this has been like one of the worst kept secrets in gaming, up there with the Oblivion remake. We've all known about it. like the only thing we didn't know was the name of it. We knew it was going to be Unreal Engine 5, but also sharing the same engine as what's it called, the Blam engine.
Yeah, and then campaign evolved instead of combat evolved.
Yeah, like other than that, we just didn't know. And like the rumor for the past 3 months was that it wasn't going to have multiplayer. So like, yeah, it's going to be weird seeing Halo on a PlayStation. But I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, look, Halo is a big IP. Halo hasn't been the big IP it once was since 2007, right? I fundamentally believe what I'm about to say, and I've believed this for years. Halo stopped being as big as it was as an IP, not because of Bungie, not because of Microsoft, not because of 343. It's because Call of Duty in 2007 took the world by bloody storm with Modern Warfare. It became an easier game to play than Halo. Halo requires more tactics than Call of Duty. That's a fact, right? So like,
it's a sweaty game, especially in multiplayer.
Yeah, like Call of Duty, anyone can pick up and play it. But Halo, like, you have to know what you're doing. You have to wear down the shields, then the health. Call of Duty isn't like that. You have people drop shotting, walking around the corner, noob tubing people. Like, you have 360 no-scope compilations on YouTube for years because that's where it all originated from. Call of Duty 4. It's easy to get into, easy to pick up. Call of Duty did replace the big multiplayer game on console being Halo at the time because there was no alternative to Halo. But as soon as COD came out, was like, I played Call of Duty 3. Call of Duty 3 is terrible. It's a terrible game. Decent campaign, but that multiplayer was awful. But a year later...
I played it on the Wii. It was horrible. The port for the Wii was horrible.
Yeah, that game was terrible on everything. And, like, yeah, they had World at War and stuff afterwards, but, like, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was such a game changer for the industry that, like, as soon as that came out, we were getting modern first-person shooters multiple times a year. Now, well, the industry's changed a bit, but like Halo hasn't been that big since 2007. Not because of any of these companies, it's because Activision bloody kicked everyone's teeth in when it comes to first-person shooter multiplayer. That's just how it happened. Like, I remember everyone talking at the time about like, oh, we're going to play Halo, and as soon as Modern Warfare came out, it just switched overnight because we never really had something like Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and it is what it is. But like Halo going to PlayStation, is it weird seeing the logo there? Yeah. However, I mean, I don't even think the game will necessarily do that well on PlayStation. Right? One, it's a first-person game. I've been told for years that first-person games are bad, and I've been told Halo's bad. Jokes aside, I think this game is mainly just to get people in the door with Halo again. It's been 4 years since Halo 5. Sorry, Halo Infinite. And like, even if this was just on Xbox, Microsoft still needs to get new players in the door for Halo because it's been so long. My God, we still have like 6 topics left. You know what? Let's get into the whole high-end console thing because this was... Look, I was telling Logan before we went live that Microsoft has had a month-long...
PR bleep show.
Yeah, a PR bleep show, let's call it. And it's like, whether it's been on Microsoft's part or people are doing the whole clickbait thing, Microsoft's had a pretty bad month for PR. But over this past weekend, people have been taking a Sarah Bond interview and running with it. And who knows, I might get to that point where I mention names. People are now running with like, oh, she said high-end device, premium gaming. And I'm saying like some of the biggest content creators in the tech space putting $1,200 in these thumbnails and the titles and stuff. Like, a price has never been mentioned. Right? Sarah Bond has referred to Xbox, and in fact, a lot of people from Xbox has referred to the Xbox Series X as a premium device for years. The Xbox One X was referred to as a remember, it was a true 4K console, a premium device, and what did it launch at? $500. Right? But people are coming out and saying $1,200, $1,000 based on nothing. Right? People are taking this bill of materials and not running with anything else. And the truth is that Xbox, even though they've had a month-long PR problem, people are just pushing this now, and it's blatant lying. Right? Yes, Xbox raising the price of Game Pass was stupid. Everyone understands that. The way they handled the Halo thing wasn't exactly that great either. And raising the price of the console in the US, bad idea. But people are just blatantly lying, saying that this next gen Xbox is going to be an absurd amount of money. Like, the thing I keep saying online is that the next gen PlayStation is going to cost $600 or $500, and the next gen Xbox is going to be $1,200 to $1,500. I will eat a top hat made of cheese if any of this comes true. Right?
You think Jim Ryan would come out of retirement before that would happen? Yeah.
Like, it's crazy what people are running with. And, like, look, like I was saying before, if you make negative Xbox news or put negative Xbox stuff in your title, you guaranteed banging views. But it's just lies. It's blatant lies, and I can't stand it. Right? Sarah Bond, she said premium. She said high end, but she didn't say $1,200. The Xbox Series X has been referred to for years as a premium home console. Crazy. And like, look, the Xbox next gen, it's going to be powerful. It's going to be capable of a bunch of different things, but you have to realize Phil Spencer not long ago was saying that you can't basically make any kind of dent in the market or be relevant with gamers if you come out with a $1,000 console. He literally said that, and it was only 4 months ago when he said that.
In Xbox years, that's eternity.
Yeah. And like I said, Microsoft, they've had a terrible month for PR. If I was Microsoft, and I do hope people from Microsoft pay attention to what I'm about to say. We are possibly over 2 years away till the next console releases. It is, how shall I put it? It's eye-opening that how often we are talking about next generation consoles years away. It shouldn't be a thing, right? Look at PlayStation, right? And by the way, what I'm saying now, I'm not saying PlayStation's doing it wrong, but I'm using them as an example. There's been no talk basically next to no talk about a next gen PlayStation. Nobody's having to ask if the next gen PlayStation is going to exist. We just assume it's going to. Will it come out? Yeah. But because people from Microsoft, they're constantly talking about this stuff years away, they're giving people less reason to buy their current gen Xbox, which is now, right? Microsoft has had this problem for years where they just talk too much. We don't need to hear an interview by someone from Xbox every 5 seconds. We don't need to hear them talk about next generation years away. I've never seen a console generation ever where executives are talking about next generation 3 years before the next gen starts. I've never seen this before. You know, the 360 was only talked about when it was announced and onwards. The Xbox One announced and onwards. Xbox Series X or Xbox One X even. Right? Xbox One X had a project name and that was it. Right? They said it was going to be 6 teraflops and they said it was going to be a premium console. Right? For a whole year, they said nothing until they showed us the console. The Xbox Series X was announced in December 2019. And then they showed off the chipset in, I think it was February 2020. And then they came out with the console in November. Microsoft has been talking about the next generation console for, a year and a half now? And it's 2 years away? That's a problem. We don't need multiple years of hype for hardware. And that's a big problem for Microsoft. All they have to do, by the way, what I'm going to say is completely free. They just have to stop talking. That's it. Right? They've confirmed that they're making next-gen consoles for 500 times. They have a roadmap of games. They have multiple games still coming out this year. Next year is looking amazing for video games, but we're constantly talking about hardware. And yeah, look, I'll tell you, hardware gets more clicks. If you put a console in your thumbnail, you're literally guaranteed to get more clicks. And at the minute, it's a topic, right? But people are running with this whole $1,200 thing, and we're years away from the next-gen console coming out. That is a huge problem, right? But that's my part on it. Logan, what do you think? Because, again, people are running with this made-up price. The fact that we're talking about next-gen consoles still 2 years out, to me, that's a problem, but hey.
Yeah, it's like the mid-gen refresh thing that what people wouldn't shut up about forever. And it's like, it just kept coming and coming and coming. People just talking about it nonstop. And then PlayStation did it, and it ramped up even more. And then Xbox is like, we have no need. We've got other plans, which I agreed with. Like, I don't think they've maximized enough the hardware they already have out there. They don't. The Ally X is different because it's a handheld device, a different experience. But like, as far as like a Series X squared or something like that, like, a mid-gen refresh type thing, I think we're way past that at this point, and just so close to next gen. There was no point or need to do that, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And just like talking about next gen constantly, it feels like they're just spamming it because they just want people to go, we're still doing it. We're still doing it. We're still doing it. It's like, okay, we got it. And like the more times they talk, the more things get taken out of context or misconstrued or analyzed to death. But there's a difference between going AWOL and like you're absent and you're not talking for ages and there's some serious stuff, and then you put out one thing or two things and then everything's good and then everybody moves on, versus just every week having to say something. It's just, I don't know. It's just been handled weird, frankly. Like the one thing they need to do more is, you know, deal with the concerns and frustrations of the hardcore community who's been with them since the OG or the 360. Like the people who have like a huge investment in this ecosystem and all this other stuff, who have been with them on the roller coaster that is Xbox. So, like, to me, they should be doing more goodwill things and focusing on that community aspect rather than appeasing some doomsday scrollers about some stuff. But, that's my opinion on that. But as far as like the price, she at least from what I could see, maybe I missed it, but at least from what I read in interviews, she never said anything like $1,200 or anything. It was like premium or high end. I mean, what do you want her to say? Our next gen console's gonna be a bargain bin box, and you pay a couple $100 and it'll play a few games. Like, no, they're not gonna say that. They want it to sound nice and swanky, a premium experience. So of course they're gonna say that. But price wise, I don't think it's gonna touch that point. If it did, then well, that would raise some other questions. But the fact that it has gotten so out of hand and spread so far, I have seen legitimate like music news sites reporting on it. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's
how is this
crazy.
broken contain on the bubble to where music news is talking about an Xbox price? Hello, you still there?
Oh yeah, yeah. For some reason, it cut out.
But yeah, it's just insane that music sites and other tabloidy things are talking about it now when, it's not even accurate to begin with.
Yeah, I'm seeing people that only usually cover movies post about this stuff daily. Like again, it gets clicks. Um, and again, like Microsoft, people from Microsoft probably don't even know the price. That's how crazy it is. Um, but I don't know what's going on over there. I think that look, people from Microsoft, they just need to talk less. That's the truth. Look, everyone listening right now, people listening later, you know that they are making next gen hardware, right? We've been told so many times, and think that I think that we should finally like push on from it. We all know what's happening, right? But like, look, I've seen people this past week that do the clickbait thing, right? Like when it came out that the next gen Xbox was going to be more powerful than the PlayStation. Do you know that this person spent 90 minutes on their stream talking about how people should buy a PlayStation 5 Pro because it's powerful, and then when people in chat brought up that the Xbox is going to be more powerful, he actually kept on saying, no, you know what? Who wants to buy an Xbox because it's more powerful, right? We're going to see people go back and forth on anything regarding Xbox, right? So people now making up prices just to make clickbait, right? It's fucking. I'm trying not to swear. It's bloody deplorable. Um, but I hopefully like that stuff will calm down a bit. But like, look, and by the way, I won't mention names. Over this past weekend, we've seen people post some really bad stuff about Sarah Bond. I think that people are just going out of their way to just make stuff up, complain about anything, uh, and some people just don't care how bad they sound when they say it. Like, it's gaming. People take this stuff way too seriously. It's a hobby. It's a fun hobby, right? I don't see people in other spaces do this. Maybe I don't pay that much attention, but my God, the gaming space, it's so toxic. Um, you know what? Let's see what we've got next. My God. Okay. um, I'm trying to say. Okay, so the Fallout event was the other day, and they showed off that Fallout 76. It's getting its brand new expansion. I think they said December. I'll have to check again. It's coming fairly soon. But throughout the whole show, if you had the live chat open, you'll have seen Fallout 3, Fallout 3, Fallout 3. the whole thing. And during the live stream, they showed off, Fallout 76. It's getting an expansion. It's getting a native next gen or current gen version in 2026. So if you've been waiting like me for a Xbox Series X version with all the upgrades and stuff, that's coming next year. Great. Fallout 4 is getting basically a Game of the Year edition. I believe that comes out in November. It's got everything that's in the current Game of the Year edition, but with some Creation Club stuff. And a Fallout Shelter's getting some stuff as well. But everyone in the chat was talking about Fallout 3 Remake, and they actually got a lot of people good with this. So they start showing off a trailer for Fallout New Vegas, and then they showed off a new collector's edition for PC. And it turns out this isn't a new version of Fallout New Vegas. It's just the regular PC version that's out now, but it's getting a collector's edition. So that isn't getting remastered. And basically, towards the end of the stream, Todd Howard, basically said he acknowledged everyone in the chat because they saw this coming a mile away, talking about, oh, we know that you want this, this, and this, but we can't talk about it yet. Look, that Fallout 3 remake, it's real, right? They kind of hinted at it, but they didn't want to announce it then. And it kind of makes sense if you think about it, because they want people to play this Fallout 76 expansion. Like, if you're a gamer, let's be honest, if you're going to choose between a Fallout 76 expansion or play the Fallout 3 remake, which one are you going to play? You're going to play Fallout 3. So I think they're just going to give that more time to breathe, and let Fallout 3 maybe release early next year. So we're going to see a massive success with the new TV show, but like the Fallout 3 remake's definitely real. It's just the way they went about it, I think was actually really good, because again, they can't have one Fallout project basically cannibalize another. They acknowledged that they basically saw what we've been talking about, which is really cool. Logan, what do you think? Because we've both been talking about the Fallout 3 remake for a long time, but they kind of acknowledged it without saying anything.
Yeah, it wasn't a good stream. I thought the fake out was funny for Fallout New Vegas, but I could see how some would not be particularly thrilled about that, especially because that was a rumored thing for a while. And I mean, Fallout 76 is cool, like great community. I'm glad the game's getting some upgrades and new stuff. Fallout Shelter is a lot of fun. Glad it's getting some new stuff. And Fallout 4 getting a whole bunch of stuff is great. Basically like a Skyrim Anniversary Edition kind of add-ons and updates and stuff like they did for Skyrim's 10th. And I'm looking forward to it. Those will all be good, and I'm glad he acknowledged the F's in the chat about like, where is it, Todd? Where is it? Why are you hiding them? And basically saying like, all those games you want, we are working on currently, and we'll share at a later date. So a Fallout 3 remake, potentially a Fallout New Vegas remaster, or 2, or both. And, the inevitable Fallout 5. They're in development. They're just not ready to show them off yet. I'm patient, but boy, I sure would like Fallout to actually come out before real Fallout happens. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, look, what's that saying? You want to have your cake and eat it? It's like, yes,
Yeah.
that's what I meant to do with cake. But I want my Fallout. I want my Fallout 3 now. But I understand why they wouldn't release it now. And look, a bunch of people messaged me like, why would they announce a new version of Fallout 4? Like, it's just a Game of the Year edition, really, And the fact it's coming to Switch next year, like, this will be the first Fallout game on a Nintendo console. So, like, I'm guessing it's going to be bloody huge on Switch 2 next year. And by the way, Fallout 4, I'm going to get out my Fallout opinion out. I might post about it on social media. I think Fallout New Vegas is, I think it's overly glazed, right? Fallout 3, every time I post about Fallout 3, I also shall say the Fallout 3 remake, I always get it should be New Vegas, right? I'm on team Fallout 3, putting it out there. Fallout 3 is an amazing game. That's I don't get the overglazing for New Vegas constantly, right? Fallout 3 is a better game in my opinion. Anyway,
It's kind of the hipster Fallout, to be honest, because it was a hot and janky mess when it first came out. And I love Obsidian to death. They're one of my favorite studios ever. That game is awesome, story wise and writing wise, and some of the quests and characters and stuff are brilliant. But that game was a hot mess when it came out. So yeah, I think it's just people being like, I liked it before it was cool, kind of thing. But
yeah. My God, I know people will take that out of context, but I think like Fallout 3 was like such an amazing game. But when I played Fallout New Vegas, it was buggy. I fell through the map. Like it's I honestly think the Fallout New Vegas map in general is bad. It's just barren, most of it. I guess that I know that's what happens in deserts, but come on.
you should go to Death Quarry Junction. I hear it's nice.
Oh God, I don't get it, man. I really don't get the massive hype for New Vegas over the years, and we're just gonna crap on Fallout 4 now. But anyway, it was a good Fallout event. The fact they acknowledged this, it will be interesting to see if they actually market it or announce it at all alongside the TV show, because the season 2 of the TV show is going to be a weekly event rather than all at once. So if that's the case, then that means that the show will go into January. So who knows what's going to happen?
I would love it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
Oh, I'll have to be careful of terminology because, monetization and stuff. But basically, you remember how they made a PC anthology edition for
Oh yeah,
Fallout and it came with a certain replica thing and all the games were stored in that?
yeah.
I think it would be cool if they did that as an anthology for Series XS. I think that would be really cool.
I mean, I'd like to see that as well. I think that honestly, I don't know why they just don't port the older Fallout games as well. Um,
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I can play them on my LIX, so it's like why couldn't you just put it on a traditional Xbox? I
yeah.
don't know.
It's a weird one because like they have the games there sitting on a server, where they could just put them on console because, like you said, they have controller support already. It's just one of those things that they aren't doing. Who knows? I think Todd Howard has said in the past that they aren't going to do anything with Fallout 1 and 2. I might be wrong, but man, that's such a beloved franchise where we really need to get more games, like more ports, games, remasters, whatever. Like hell, when Fallout Shelter still has players, and Fallout Shelter came out in what 2017, 2018, like that's been out for a while and it still gets content. Crazy. But yeah, I'd be shocked if we don't hear about Fallout 3 remake, let's say by February. I'd be absolutely shocked. Anyway, who knows? Maybe that might be a January direct thing. Who knows? You know
That
what?
seems like a good bet.
Yeah, I mean their January showcase is going to have to be packed anyway because look, in summer, who knows what they're going to show there? But like, if
Yeah,
they're going to get
Fable.
Fable,
Yeah.
Fable will probably be there. I'd be shocked if Fable, like, we're obviously going to see what's the deal with Fable because, like, look, I hate always mentioning GTA because of how big it is, but like the absurd amount of developers that are going to make up their mind on when they're releasing games next year, 100% based on when GTA comes out. that's going to affect everyone. Microsoft, Nintendo, like hell, Nintendo isn't even getting Grand Theft Auto 6, and they probably going to plan their releases around that as well. So like, it is the boogeyman, so to speak. But I'm sure Fable will be fine. But yeah, that's probably going to be at the January Direct as well. You know what? We'll quickly talk about this before we go. So people were losing the marbles this past weekend over, Halo going to other platforms, and I kind of shook my head because, like, one, we already knew about this because it leaked ages ago, but also, like, Sony's only, should say, relevant multiplayer game ever at the minute, Helldivers 2, came to Xbox, and nobody acted like it was the end of the world. Nobody. I saw a lot of celebration over it. The Helldivers 2 community online were losing the marbles because they were like, hey, we're going to get a lot of backup with by a lot of experienced players. Now you have people that fought the Flood and the Covenant for 20 plus years that are going to help you in Helldivers. So like, there's a lot of excitement, memes around it and stuff. But like, it just goes to show like how different these games are treated, right? So like, you have Helldivers, the only relevant multiplayer by Sony, came to Xbox. It's celebrated, and we have an announcement a couple of days ago of a port of an old Halo campaign going elsewhere, and people are acting like it's the end of Xbox. And granted, Halo is a bigger IP, and it's greatly associated with why Xbox exists. But man, like, the amount of celebrations I've seen over people, like, PlayStation games coming to Xbox has been staggering. But Halo, I keep seeing Xbox is dead in my feed. Like, look, Sony, they did hire for a multi-platform, if I remember correctly, someone that's going to basically manage the multi-platform stuff. Sony only have one more live service game that we know out that's coming. That's Marathon. I haven't played Marathon. I've heard a bunch of good stuff about it when it comes to extraction shooters. But basically, they have one game that we know of that's coming to Xbox. That's a live service game. So, like, they're obviously going to bring over other games. I think the question is when. You know, for the longest time, I've been saying it's going to be Spider-Man and Days Gone. Those two seem like solid bets based on how they've treated the IP and how well they've sold. And, like, if you're Sony, why wouldn't you bring those games over? Because, again, who's buying a PlayStation new in 2025 or 2026 to play a 2017 Spider-Man game? Or 2018, whenever it came out. But I do think these games are coming. I just think it's a question of when rather than if. Like, Logan, do you think more games are coming over?
Yes. Just simply yes. I hesitate on a few of their tentpoles, but I think stuff like, Days Gone, Spider-Man, maybe Returnal, some of their more experimental games. If Sony ever gets their act together on multiplayer games, those would come over. Like, honestly, I think they're content multiplayer wise to just let Xbox and friends supply them with multiplayer games and them focus on the single player stuff because they're clearly not doing so hot in the multiplayer facet of gaming. So that's kind of what I see the writing on the wall, especially with Steam and GOG and Epic getting where you can use it with an Xbox and device, and that the next console is going to be a hybrid, traditional console, but a hybrid, and you can just get their games anyway, just through loopholes and stuff. Like, why not just cut the middleman out and just directly port them so you get all your money instead of Steam getting their pound of flesh and Epic and GOG? Like, why not cut the middleman out and get your whole revenue you can? Like, it just seems like a no-brainer to me. But again, I don't run a multi-billion-dollar Japanese entertainment company, so what do I know?
Yeah, I think like you said, when the next gen Xbox comes out, like you can with the ROG Ally Xbox devices, like you can load up PlayStation games from Steam. But like if you're Sony, you want that bigger cut. So porting natively to Xbox does make more sense because again, people like to act like these ports cost unbearable amounts of money. But they would make their money back and more. Like, look, there isn't an open world Spider-Man game that you could buy on Xbox right now. The simply isn't. In fact, there's not many superhero games you can buy on Xbox right now. Right? Like, Logan, can you remember that superhero sale that we had on Xbox a couple of months ago? And there was like 4 games.
Oh yeah, that was like one of the sickest, saddest jokes I've ever seen in my life. It was like, S Squad, and then a couple Lego games, and then like the Arkham trilogy, and about that was it.
Yeah, and it's absolutely barren. That's why it did make money. And the reason I always say Days Gone is because, one, it sold over 10 million copies. It's a new IP. Well, it was a new IP. And like, if you're an open world zombie game, I can almost guarantee you instant success on Xbox. like people like open world zombie games. It's clearly a beloved IP. For some reason, Sony decided not to make more of them because of a stupid Metacritic score. But I do see these games coming. Again, they had a taste of that multi-platform money. Like, they made a lot of money from Helldivers. Like, Helldivers was number 1 and number 2 on the Xbox store in the UK, of a game that didn't have much of a marketing push. So, like, if you have a smaller game, a co-op game, doing that at a reasonable price, then I think they'll have a lot of success with other games. And you're obviously going to have people that are getting upset by the stuff I'm saying. Like, they'll say it'll never happen. But why should we celebrate one company doing these things and not the other? Everyone's saying that these games should be available and everything, so shouldn't we be all pushing for it? You'll have certain people that won't say that, but I will. Because, come on. Like, I think that, like, look, and I saw in chat before, I can't remember who said it, but like, oh yeah, I wonder how Shizno said, I wonder how Gears Reloaded did on PlayStation 5. We really don't know. We really don't know. I suspect it didn't do that well, simply because of how it was marketed. Right? Gears of War Reloaded is literally a remaster of 2015's Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Right? And by the way, I'll mention this quickly. Over the past weekend, I've seen a lot of people call Gears of War Ultimate Edition a upres. No. That they literally remade the whole game from scratch. The only thing that's the same is the voice acting and the base gameplay. Every single asset in that game was remade, right? So we can't call Gears of War Ultimate Edition an upres. It was remade in the same way Halo Campaign Evolved been remade, right? Different engine, new assets. Like, that's it. I just think that when they announced Gears Reloaded, people were expecting more. Like, if you're an Xbox player and you played it back in the day, like, I love Gears of War Ultimate Edition, but what was I getting with this new version? I was just getting 4K 60. And the fact that I got a free copy, I was like, cool, that's a nice deal. But I don't think it just had a decent marketing spree online. I don't know, that could be just me. Like, Logan, do you think like Gears did that well on PlayStation? Because we never really heard much about it.
If I remember correctly, someone reported that Xbox was, okay or pleased with how it did, but I never saw any like concrete numbers or like hardcore reporting on it. So, at the very least, I'd guess it did all right. But if it had done like bonkers, they would have put out some stuff, pumping it up and fluffing it up to make it like, look how great this is. This beloved franchise has ended the console wars and it's doing this much numbers on PlayStation. See, they have gathered to see what they missed out on. Da 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 da. They would have done all that sunshine pumping nonsense, but they didn't. So my guess is it did all right.
Yeah, I think that was a good test case for showing how people just like to say that, hey, your game's available on my platform. Because every single game that Microsoft announced that's going elsewhere, people in my replies will be like, oh, look, I'm getting to play this game too. But they don't buy them. They don't play them. Flight Simulator was announced for PlayStation like 2 weeks ago, right? People were replying to my old Flight Simulator posts saying, oh, look, get what I get to play on PlayStation. It's like, it's just all about bragging, right? I've been playing Flight Simulator 2024 since it came out. I bloody loved that game. I got into the top 15 best players in the world. And people were just using it as ammo. People used gears of ammo. Like, Logan, have you seen a single person on social media post about Age of Mythology on PlayStation?
That's a good question. It's probably right up there with the Pixel Remaster Fire Tablet market. I mean, it's
absolutely. Like,
I might have seen a couple posts when it launched.
But ever since, nobody talks about it. And the truth is, like, look, most people that buy these consoles, they buy them not just for these black hole games, but like if you take the core user base, we all play the same bloody crap. Which is why I always laugh when people say it's the end of Xbox. Like, there's a chance that you could walk down the street and find a random gamer, and that person, all they play is, like, they play Assassin's Creed. They play the Batman Arkham games. They play the, they play the Fortnites and stuff, right? We all play 99% of the same crap, but people will argue online, call it the death of Xbox because of a couple of games, right? It's silly at the end of the day, but it is what it is. But hey, everyone in chat has been amazing once again. Logan, it's been great talking with you once again. Sorry for the audio issues that happened in this show twice. I don't know what's going on. I do have a new mic, which I do want to use very shortly. It's a good mic, very good mic. But basically, for people that don't know, I've already mentioned this before. My current mic is a Blue Yeti, and the main reason I've stuck with this mic for a very long time is because of just my audio setup. And as soon as I plug in that new mic, I have to redo everything from scratch, which is nightmare material for me because everything looks like Matrix code. So hopefully get that stuff sorted. Again, the audio issues shouldn't be here next week. Just weird setting stuff on my end. But again, everyone in chat, been amazing once again. We'll be back at the same time next week. I do keep talking about having this green room thing where I go live half an hour before the show starts, where I talk about wrestling, maybe movies, TV shows, whatever that stuff. With the clocks going back in the UK, I'm my schedule's all messed up, so we'll see what happens. Logan, when did the clocks go back in the US?
I honestly don't remember. I should probably check that.
I'm just gonna guess it's probably like next weekend. But anyway, same time, same show next weekend. Hope everyone has a great week. We'll be back same time, and I should have a video. I'll have to check out by Sunday. Hope you all enjoy that. This video is a big one. It's been taking quite some time to make. I hope everyone stays along for the ride. Again, the links to our description. Sorry, I can't speak today. The links. I'm all over. Right, the links to our social medias in the description down below. I'll also put the link to Jez Corden's article in a pinned comment. Because YouTube's been a bit weird with links to alternate websites in descriptions. So bear with me. But anyway, hope everyone has a good week. Wait out, everybody. Thanks.